I'm happy to be sitting again with Tony. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
And Tony was saying that just even in the short time that he's been practicing Krishna consciousness, he's beginning to become aware that he's becoming more conscious and aware of everyday things, and those everyday things are becoming special, like talking about bees and how they produce honey. And I was talking about small flying creature, the micro technology involved, that you see a little insect fly by, but that's a miracle. You got a tiny thing that's the size of a pinhead and it's flying, and it can see and it can digest and all of these things, and that's micro technology, and we've got no material scientists or technology that could ever come anywhere near that. So this is Krishna right here with you, in front of you, but are you aware of the miracle of what you're seeing? Yeah. So as my guru said, first we need to become conscious before we become Krishna conscious. And Tony was also speaking that even his interacting with people is changing, that it's becoming more like relishable. He's appreciating it. It's not a drag to talk to someone. It becomes something special. So that's also amazing, that the quality of our life, in our relationships with one another, becomes so much more as it should be, because it's sacred, as it says in Bhagavad Gita, that we need to be aware of the sacred quality of life. So it's just wonderful to hear Tony speak about these things, and to understand that the power of Krishna consciousness is amazing. That you just take up chanting, you begin to try to follow the principles, and your consciousness changes. It actually changes. And what does that mean? It means you start becoming conscious, and then Krishna conscious. And we were just talking that the stage of Krishna consciousness is in 4 sections. Firstly, the chanting of the holy name, Nam, to become conscious of Krishna's name. Then Rupa, become conscious of Krishna's form. Guna, then become conscious of Krishna's qualities. Krishna is a person. There's a wonderful book called Nectar Devotion, in which you can read about Krishna's transcendental qualities, unlimited. There's 64 listed. Wonderful qualities. He can speak in any language. He's humble. So many wonderful qualities. He's shy. Can you believe Krishna is shy? That he's, the supreme divine person, and yet he's very humble, very shy. So to gradually become Krishna conscious means that we become more and more conscious of Krishna's name, his form, his qualities. And the 4th stage is called Leela. That Krishna is not a dead stone. He's a person, and he has friends, and he's got so many activities that are going on all the time, spiritual, in the spiritual world. And they're called Leela, and those activities are very sweet and very, how can you say, full of love. But they're real activities. They're not some mythological description. And as we progress, we can read and hear about those activities. Krishna's a cowherd boy. Every day he goes off to the forests in Vrindavan, the beautiful forests in the spiritual world called Goloka. That planet is the supreme planet. It's the shape of a giant lotus flower. And that's Krishna's personal home. And what's going on there? It's village life. There's no industries, there's no towns and no traffic. It's village life. Krishna goes out with the cows every day, with his cowherd friends and the milkmaids, the gopis of Vrindavan. So these are all very exalted personalities. They're Krishna's associates. And all that's going on there is the love going on. Everyone in Vrindavan is mad about Krishna. Everything is conscious there, even the water, the land, the trees, it's all conscious, and they're all mad about Krishna. And Krishna all day long is thinking about his devotees. So this exchange of love is all that's going on there. But there's no anxiety, there's no time, there's no birth, old age, disease, or death. That's the spiritual sky. That's our home. So as we practice Krishna consciousness in this world, we begin to become more conscious of these things. And ultimately, what is the goal? The goal is love. So when our hearts become pure, completely pure, one of the qualities of Krishna is pavitram. Pavitram means pure. Krishna is supremely pure. No lust, no anger, no greed in his heart. So if we take to Krishna consciousness, because Krishna is supremely pure and we're contacting Krishna, we become pure. Just like even the sun in the material world, the sun purifies everything that it touches. Huh? So the same thing as we touch Krishna. How do we touch him? Through his name, descriptions of his activities, his qualities, seeing his form, taking food offered to him. So many ways that we get contact with Krishna. By that contact, because he is pure, we become purified. Purify our consciousness. Become, what is Krishna consciousness? It's pure consciousness, purely conscious of Krishna. And that is not some mechanical thing, because when that happens, there's a change of heart. The heart is becoming softened. So material life means hard heart, isn't it? We see people are so hard-hearted. Just like Tony was telling us, he was attacked recently, stabbed on the station, and people were standing by and they didn't do anything. What is that? That's hard heart. So that hard heart is changed and softened by the process of Krishna consciousness. And ultimately the goal is called prem. Prem is love, pure love, not mundane love of this world, but that pure love called prem is the ultimate goal of Krishna consciousness. At that point, we are fully purified. And at that point, you can see Krishna 24 hours a day. There's a verse in a famous book called Brahma Samhita, in which Lord Brahma is the first living being in this universe. He's the engineer of this material universe. He gets power from Krishna to do that. But he's the great devotee. And he's given us famous prayers, Brahma Samhita, in which he says, one verse in Sanskrit, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Valochanena Santasa Deva Hridayeshu Valokayanti. That the pure devotee, someone who is completely purified of all material desire, he sees Krishna 24 hours a day, even though he's in this world. Prem Anjana, because Anjana is an ointment. His eyes are smeared with this ointment of prem, of love. So when our eyes are smeared with this ointment of love, then you have spiritual vision. Then you can see Krishna 24 hours face to face, all day long, all night long, and be in his pastimes, his activities. So that's only possible if that change of heart takes place. Otherwise, if we have material desires, we cannot see Krishna. We cannot associate with Krishna like that. Just like Prabhupada, one of our great gurus, says that if you want to go into the fire, you have to have a body that's made of fire. Otherwise, you can't go in. Yeah. Even in this material world, there are certain creatures on the sun planet that have a body that can exist in fire. But from a spiritual point of view, if we want to enter into the spiritual kingdom, our body must be spiritualized. And it's explained that actually each one of us has a spiritual body. It's not yet manifest. But that body is like in quality the same as Krishna. It's Satchidananda Vigraha. That body is eternal, full of knowledge and full of bliss. And it's waiting to be manifest. So this process of Krishna consciousness, the chanting, the reading the Bhagavad Gita, all the other bhakti books, taking food after Krishna, associating with devotees, serving the spiritual master, all of this has the power to actually change our hearts. So, and that is the only goal of life, Param Gatim, the supreme destination. So every other dharma, artha, karma, moksha, people are very busy with. Sometimes they do even religious rituals because they want a nice wife or they want money. That's material. Artha means making money. I want to fruit of activity. I work hard. What for? To get money so that I can buy and enjoy my senses. Yeah, it has nothing to do with Krishna. Karma means sense enjoyment. Let me make a lot of money and then I can buy an island and relax on the beach all day and drink martinis. Sense gratification. That also is not the goal of life. And moksha, people think, okay, I'm sick and tired of this material world, it's too difficult, let me just get freedom, liberation. But once again, there's no bhakti, they don't have any devotion. So only prem, this bhakti is the goal of life. All the other things are distraction. They won't take you out of this material world, they won't solve the material problems, nor will they satisfy the soul. So this is a great science, and we are very fortunate to just even, it's like a great ocean, even if you just have your tiny toe in the ocean, you're so fortunate, and Lord Chaitanya, who is Krishna himself, Gauranga, the golden avatar, the most merciful incarnation of Krishna, he came just as recently as 500 years ago to teach these things, two things: humility and surrender to Krishna. So this humility, dainya is the word, is absolutely essential. And Srila Narayan Maharaj, one of our great spiritual masters, has said like that the only thing actually that attracts Krishna's mercy is humility. So you can imagine if the Lord himself comes and says, this is what you need to learn, two things, humility and surrender, then we know this is what I should become very fixed on, very focused on, the necessity to be humble 24 hours a day. Just like that, there's one verse, Lord Chaitanya, Gauranga came, he only gave 8 verses. He could have given 8 billion verses. Can you imagine how important those 8 verses are? And one of them that we say every day, Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnina Amanina Manadena Ketanya Sadahari. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. So the very first thing that he says in that verse, we should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind. And we should chant all the time. So what does that mean? That means that I should be in a humble state of mind all the time. If I'm not, then I know I'm off track. I can test myself. Whatever's happening in my life, whatever's going on, 24/7, am I in a humble state of mind right now? I can always check that out, yeah? If I'm not, I'm off track, yeah? So this is a wonderful guideline from the Lord himself, as to how should I be to be receptive of Krishna's mercy and to make progress in spiritual life. I need to be humble, yeah? So, these things are very helpful day by day to keep us on track as to how I should be in order to make progress in Krishna consciousness.